This is probably one that I wish we did have Peter for. Because my question is going to be, could there be such a thing as a tracking free internet?
So
that's it.
I could take a stab at this.
Well, let me play our intro and then we'll get into it. Oh, nope, wrong intro. There we go. That's the one. All right. Could there be a tracking free internet, John?
Yeah.
Channel your inner Peter.
So, okay. Well, like, are we talking about on top of like our internet?
On top of our internet? What's that mean?
Like current, like on our existing internet? Like, are you saying?
Yeah. So, well,
are you saying?
Yeah. Let's talk about from where we are right now. Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about a couple of scenarios. So, I can right now basically become trackless, untrackable, maybe is a better word. And it would require me running a no JavaScript extension in my browser. It would require me to run tracking and ad blocking and patience. Because
and no desire to actually use the entire internet if you'd have JavaScript turned off.
Right. So patience, because using the web without JavaScript in 2024 is probably next to impossible. Like from a normal usability perspective, like it would be hell. And then also all of the major services we use, right? Like if you're on Reddit or maybe you're on Twitter or you're on, you're like a fucking Amazon scroller. Yeah. All of these services have implemented basically like confidence scores on if you're like a bot, are you scraping us? Are you an attacker? Like, are you malicious? And, they do that using JavaScript and tracking. And when you block those things or you remove those capabilities, what they're saying is, we don't know who you are. You're going to do some CAPTCHAs. And boy, are you going to do some CAPTCHAs, because every action you make is going to trigger a CAPTCHA. So it depends on how patient you are and how willing you are to go through this insane, like, these never-ending steps of browsing the web. So to answer the question is, can we use the internet today in a track-free environment? No, not effectively, right? Like not efficiently. And that's basically like when we talk about privacy, how do you become more private? We always say, Peter and I both say this, is you got to pick and choose your battles. This is a battle you don't choose, right? You let them do this so that you remain sane.
Yeah, for sure. And I had experimented with Firefox some time ago. I talked about it in Discord, or Discord server, which if you're not a member of, you absolutely should come and check out. We have some really interesting conversations over there. But I had tried
also
to
like and subscribe. You don't have to come to Discord. Just like and subscribe.
Kind of have to. But I had committed to using it for a month. I'm actually not even sure I made it for a month. Because I mean, so my takeaway with Firefox is, if you really care about privacy above all else, then it's probably the best option. Absolutely. God bless. Go forward. Have fun. But it's a dated UI. It's got all kinds of like weird little quirks. The navigation isn't great. And the tracking breaks shit. And to me, that just wasn't worth the trade-off. Like, yeah, I'm pretty well on the record as not caring a whole lot about the privacy aspect of it. Obviously, I want to be safe. I think that some of the not doxing per se, but identity theft, significant criminal act. We should not do that. I do not want to be attacked. Let me be clear about that. but it shouldn't be. I don't want to live in fear all the time, I guess is my point. But there are a couple aspects of tracking, right? So one aspect of tracking is ad targeting, and that has to do with our current business models. There could be usable sites without ad targeting. Good ideal world, there wouldn't be. The sale of tracking data, this is a little bit nefarious, very profitable, should really just not be legal. I think there's no reason for it other than to allow companies to make more money. Theoretically, you'd say, well, it's just improves ad targeting because then they know more about you, whatever, not buying it. Debugging, or the nature of the service. Sometimes the service has to track you to be able to deliver the service.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with
testing,
that.
Right. Yeah.
And then customization of the service or content. Also to our benefit, maybe you don't want to be tracked, so you'd be willing to accept a more generic experience. But I kind of outlined that in my head just to think about like, what are the degrees of acceptability for tracking purposes?
Sure.
And to me, where it really becomes a problem is when companies are sharing and selling information amongst themselves.
Yeah. Or storing. I wouldn't even go as far as to say selling. I think storing that information is a problem because we see it all the fucking time where a company gets breached and the data that gets swept up in the breach is super pervasive, like really intimate stuff. I mean, the shit that some companies store on you. Yeah. So it is, I would love to see an internet where for-profit tracking, right? Commercial tracking, to a degree, I guess, would be able to be stopped completely. But on the flip side, right, tracking stops financial crime. So
what's that mean?
In fintech, in like the finance technology sector, they use tracking as a form of verification of a person. So there are companies out there that are similar to data brokers that siphon up a bunch of data about you. They actually have a profile on you as in Mike. You've never interacted with them. You don't know their names. They know you though. And they know that you use a Pixel 4. You generally browse from a Chromium browser. You live in X state. Your phone number is whatever. Your email is generally this. Your active hours, your everything, your behavior. So you then go and sign up for like SoFi or like one of these new services, right? Like these new financial services. Maybe it's an investment company like Robinhood or and Robinhood is partnered with this company you've never heard of before, this data broker. They are using them as a vendor to verify you. And you sign up and the data that Robinhood has on you passes to this vendor who does a verification check, a KYC, a know your customer check on you. And if things are looking bad, right? Like, oh, well, they're using this guy's social and name, but it's an email we've never seen before, and the IP is not in the city that he's usually in. This is looking dodgy. Like, you should probably have this person do further verifications. So what they'll do is the further verification will be like, take a picture of your ID and your face.
Yeah. So what do you think about that?
Good, right? Like that is a good form of tracking. That's a great form of tracking because it stops financial crime happening to you.
But it's equally as invasive.
Yes, but it's done for good, is it not?
Yeah, but I guess, is that the criteria that tracking is okay if it's done for good? Or is privacy?
Well, you've given that information out, right? Like you've handed that information out.
That's my argument about other privacy online, though. Like, You're the
Yeah,
one.
but the difference here is that they're stopping financial crime happening to you,
Yeah.
and the other
Interesting.
difference, the other company is just selling your fucking data. So, or
Yeah.
storing it or whatever, right? Like, so one is for profit, and while it obviously can be definitely said that this anti-financial crime, KYC, anti-money laundering service, like
Mhm.
they make money too, right? Like it's a great industry to be in right now. Um,
And probably by selling your data.
yeah, definitely. So we have Kunan asking in chat, because we are live, as you guys know.
Oh, I
If you're
forgot about
watching
that.
this recorded, I wonder if banks do the same thing. If, let's say, you give the bank location info and they now no longer need you to know. Is that what that says? I have a little heart there. I can't see.
I think
Need
so.
to know, no longer need you to notify for travel
Yeah.
based on this type of data tracking. So yes, because literally such a good like question.
Where like in
Because
the
I was just
past, I
traveling.
might be on the turnpike a couple hundred miles from home, and I use my card, and they say, "Is this you?"
Yeah. Right. Remember, like this used to happen back in the day. You'd get a call from your bank. They'd be like, "Hey, are you in New York right now, like making a purchase?" And you'd be like, "No." And they'd be like, "This is the fraud department. Like, we'll take care of it." You know, like it was super like
Yeah.
early 2000s techno.
Like, yes, let me buy this stupid thing.
But now, so I was abroad and I was using my contactless phone to pay for stuff, Mike.
Were you out of
And
personal checks?
basically, right, like they know it's me. The confidence score is super high because I have a bunch of data points that are tracking me that say, hey, yeah, this person is flying to this country. So versus like if this has ever happened to you, like it's kind of a fucking nightmare. You go to use your card and you're abroad, you haven't notified your bank that you're traveling, because that was a thing. You still have to do that, and they decline it and lock the card, and you have to call them and be like, hey, like, no, it's me, I'm here,
Yeah.
please
When
unlock it, I'm trying
in
to pay for this
reality,
restaurant.
they should be able to use the GPS tracking on your phone to know what store you're at, and then
But
tap
that's
into
what they're
the.
doing. Is That's what I'm telling you, that's what they're doing, right? So like Google knows some things about me.
But then
I
they
use
also should be able
Gmail.
to tap into the CCTV of the store to see that it's actually
Oh
you.
my god, how pervasive do you want them to get, Mike?
How safe do you want your financial stuff to be, John?
I mean, that's the thing, right? Like the point is to walk that line. And I know you're sort of joking, but like the point is to walk
No,
that
I'm
line,
not. What do
as
you
this
mean?
in this industry is like it wouldn't be effective for them to be able to like track your CCTV footage of this fucking store. Like what are they going to contract with every Macy's, right? Like no. So
Well, it should probably be some kind of like unified, maybe like government system
that's a great idea.
that
Keep
every
going.
store
Yeah.
is like required really to opt
Yeah.
into.
Oh my god. So it's funny you say that. I had just
Is it?
landed yesterday. I'm back home and in an undisclosed location someplace on planet Earth.
Maybe
And
allegedly.
this is actually a green screen. So wouldn't that be funny if I pushed it's a green screen of my room?
Like, I actually know somebody who did that. Because if it was like bad light, if it was night outside or lower
Right.
lighting inside, or
Yeah,
they just didn't want to be on
yeah,
a different angle.
so funny. What was I saying? Oh, I
Cameras,
landed. Yeah, okay. So I landed.
facial recognition. I'm guessing.
I need to go through border patrol and passport control, and the way it works in this airport is that you have to pick up your luggage, and as I'm waiting for my luggage, there's this advertising for an app called, what were you called again? Mobile Passport Control. Okay, it's a federal app, and it says like, skip the line, sign up for Mobile Passport Control right now. And I'm like, yes, skip the line. Like, oh my god, you see, the line was like wrapped around, like it was past the lanes, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, no, thank you. Like I'm already so tired off of this flight. Like get me the fuck out of this airport. So I download the app and it's like scan your passport, fill in some information, take a picture, take a selfie, and then I finish, I grab my bag, and there's a separate lane for the mobile passport control that's empty. So I just walk right through and I'm out of the airport, right? Like nobody else next to me was doing this. And that's right, like again, that is me compromising on my privacy, right?
Yeah.
Like I am providing the United States, dox myself of my country.
Doxed.
Shucks. I am providing the US government data that they're going to store on me, right? Like about me. And that's a battle I will fucking happily lose because I ain't standing in a 2-hour passport control line. What's wrong with them?
When I flew back into the country from Mexico, and I always think I hope that I'm remembering this wrong, but I remember walking into the customs area and there was a sign that talked about facial recognition. And then I got up to the checkpoint, and the guy like never even asked for my passport. I was just like, go through. And I thought
your face.
But there was no like, hey, look at this camera, or this is what's happening. I walk up to the thing, have my passport in my hand, and he just looks up and says, go ahead. Like, what the fuck did you just look up on me?
No, I still had to hand my passport in.
It was crazy. I hope I'm misremembering. Maybe I was just so tired
from the trip. What country did you fly in from?
From Mexico.
So did you do a passport control in Mexico?
Oh, I don't, probably to get onto the plane, I imagine.
So some country, yeah, obviously, what am I asking? Some countries have relationships with the US that lets them do passport control for America. So you're out of the airport faster.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe so you do passport control. You do passport control already there. And I'm sure that Mexico has that relationship with America. I mean, it would make perfect sense. Canada doesn't. Canada still will have you. Actually, I don't remember now that I think about it. I think it was still like domestic style because that's what happens, right? You fly domestic, you just get off the plane and walk out. Like there's no any security check beyond that. Anyway, we've been talking about this for way too long.
There was one other thing I wanted to mention before we cut off. We are going long, but I just wanted to share this. Came up in Discord. Spam will be solved in 2 years, according to Bill Gates, in 2004.
2004.
Womp womp.
Amazing.
Just a fun way to end. Glad to bring that up. See everyone tomorrow.